everybody to Turn2Gaming. I'm your host, Matt Bartram, and I'm with my co-host, AJ Burning. Tonight, shorter podcast, but it's a good question. What is magic? So, AJ, what do you think magic's about?
Oh, man. Magic the Gathering. You know, what's weird to think about now is that I have been introduced to the game now, what was it, 2016, so almost 5 years ago. And you had no idea about the game, right?
No, yeah.
So it's just crazy to think that you have no idea about this game, and then it's just a part of your life and you know how to play. Just like, any other game, you learn how to play. But there's something about Magic that really I feel like transports you into that, like I was looking at an old pack. Somebody opened up a random. Somebody was trying to search a pack on Reddit.
I heard about that. the secret Black Lotus.
Yeah, and it just I was like, oh man, I gotta open it up. That's what, thousands of dollars down the drain.
Oh yeah.
Then he opens it, and there's the Black Lotus. And I think honestly, that's the catalyst of what I think Magic is. There's history. There's this mythos behind it. There's the community. There is so much around it. And on the front of the pack, it says, visit the shores of imagination. Mm-hmm. And I think just that concept of nostalgia is there for most people that have played now. But I know for a fact that once we get back to playing in person, and once the whole the whole MTG Universe Beyond thing happens, and there's still that core of the game that Richard Garfield made that I feel like will live on forever, in tabletop communities, and so there's just a lot of that I feel like Magic at its core is a phenomenal game. It was made well, and the community has ebbs and flows. And so does the actual, the sets and things like that. People, like myself, I sold 95% of my collection, but why do I keep cards still? To play the game, right? Yeah. And I feel like that's what Magic is it's this part of you that you could always just pick up a game and play. And that's the same to say for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And other those, but I feel like the core behind Magic also comes from the D&D groups too. That kind of, you could always have a group of friends to play.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, that's kind of my little short synopsis of what I think it is. And we'll probably talk a lot over the course of many of these podcasts about that question. But
for sure.
There is definitely a sense of wonder behind the game.
Mm-hmm. I think the crazy thing to think about is Magic was made in, 94?
93.
93. And I wasn't even born yet. So you wasn't even born yet.
No, I was. I was born in So I'm as old as Magic the Gathering, which is weird to think.
Well, I think we just I don't know if I talked about it on the last podcast, but I'm as old as the reserve list. I'm actually technically the reserve list is actually just 10 days older than I am.
Wow.
So yeah, right when they made the reserve list, it was in March of '96. So
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I mean, the game of Magic, when it was first started, Garfield, I believe, was in college. He got a whole bunch of his college mates, made up cards, and he gave some people certain cards that other people didn't, and it just worked.
Yeah,
it was kind of crazy.
Go ahead. Yeah,
you don't really think about that kind of stuff when you're making a game making a game like that, because usually you think of everybody having equal ground and all that, but he made it a way that someone may have a different card than you do, but you still have equal chance of winning. So that's kind of unique.
Yeah, and they identified early on. He didn't even intend for people to trade.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I've watched a couple documentaries now. There's not too many, which I wish there was more. But, on YouTube, and then how I literally found out about Magic the Gathering was through the Netflix documentary, the Battlefield one, I don't know. Enter the Battlefield.
Enter the Battlefield. Was that from just Magic the Gathering too?
Yeah. It was just about that.
Yeah, because they did a whole bunch of those little little videos about like other people too that who made an impact towards Magic.
Yeah. So those are really fun, and those kind of tie into the whole, wonder about the game. I feel like, because I was like, how is this thing that's like this massive across the world even like exist without you knowing? And I'm sure there's other things in life that you'll never know about, but in the gaming community, I've been a gamer my entire life. My dad got me into gaming, and how did I not know about Magic the Gathering? So yeah, but like Garfield didn't even intend these cards to be traded or nothing, and sure enough, people just started trading them and building more powerful cards, and that's pretty much how the Power 9 came to be, is because once those got printed, people were seeking after those because they were so powerful. And yeah, it's crazy. Like I wish I would have been able to play in the early, I would have been like 6 to 10 years old, but it would have been crazy fun to play in these events back in the 2000s, man.
Yeah, nobody used sleeves back then.
No one did.
It's crazy.
And I'm just thinking about playing with like a Gaia's Cradle or all these cards that just now would be, it would just literally, at the fact that it would just make you sick to play with them.
Like think of people like Alpha Investments and like other people who like take the more of the financial side of the game, and they're like, oh man, like they're probably having like a panic attack with these guys playing without sleeves.
Yeah.
I was watching a video not so long ago with him, and he had his couple of his buddies, and like they're having like these $50,000 decks, and his buddy's like here, and he's like Alpha Investments, like having like a little panic attack. It's like, you really want me to play with these? And he's like, yeah, they're meant to play. I'm like, and it's like just like a $50,000 deck shuffling. I'm hoping it's double sleeved, but they're just
at that point, I think I know what video you're talking about. I like those guys. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool dudes.
Like at that point, you just have to be okay with the fact that it is a game, and I think that that is what this is. It's a game, and you can step away from a game. You can have a passion for it, and you can love the game, but also you have to understand your boundaries. And I've come to know that for myself. Like I got really, really into the game for 2 to 3 years, and then I just had to say, you know what, obviously I want this to be a part of my gaming, entertainment, but I can't like let it control me. Constantly thinking about new cards. Like when we started this podcast, right before you said that they were about to announce the new set, right?
Yeah.
I honestly get like emails from Wizards and stuff, and I'm just like, I barely can keep up with like the free stuff on Arena, let alone what I used to do is like brew decks and all these things. And then, that's fun. That's all a part of it. But I think as a Magic player, you just have a season of like you're in the game and then you're out of the game. And then you can always come back and, buy back in, so to speak. Except for, vintage cards. I think you can't really buy into that unless they like say screw the reserve list and we're going to start printing them again. But I don't know if they're probably will never do that. But they'll print everything close to what those old cards are.
Oh, for sure. And they'll definitely do it for Commander. They probably won't do it for Legacy, since Legacy uses a lot of those reserve cards, but they'll probably just find a way to make it, you can only use it for Commander and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, we've already had like variants of like Gaia's Cradle and obviously Black Lotus. Like that was really Lotus.
Lotus I wasn't playing that much then, and I was like, wow, Jeweled Lotus. They're just gonna print Black Lotus, and okay, that's fine.
Stupid,
they even made it scarce. They even made the extended art scarce. I'm like, so the fact, in my opinion, the fact that they did that.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
My only source, I watch a lot of Alpha Investments and a couple other people. And out of all the box openings that they get reported to about just from their communities, literally there was a shortage of how much Jeweled Lotuses and that extended art foil were printed. So that, to me, tells me like right there that they know exactly what they're doing with when it comes to their print runs and stuff like that. So that to me tells me
the foiling is a different question.
Oh yeah, that's not good at all.
The foiling was awful in that set. Which think about it, if you got a foiled full art Jewel Lotus, I'll be upset. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I think that really just covers. We had like a little part that just talked about the game. I think that kind of just covers it right there. I think we just kind of hit it right there.
Yeah, I think so too. One more point on the game is like, I really, really think that, Richard Garfield did a phenomenal job of making the game. And I just really don't know how it's almost weird to think about. Like, I was reading up too, is like if they were going to introduce like a fifth color of magic, or
I've heard about that,
or different, like purple or something, and all these things. And I'm just really happy that they've stuck with the general concept of the game for so long, and that it just continues to go that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows with all this weird stuff coming out, but
they've been doing a lot of color bending for sure.
Yeah, but I just feel,
which I think there's some of it that's bad, but there's some of it's like I'm okay with.
Like, because like as a more of a competitive player that I used to be, when I try to get Mythic and Arena, if I ever want to do that, I feel like, okay, I know which colors I like and which ones I don't want to try to maybe build a deck in this, and what cards I have. There's like color identities, which is really cool to have, and I feel like overarchingly Wizards does a good job, except for printing cards to try to sell packs. Mm-hmm. We talked about that a lot last with the bannings and stuff. But at some point you don't want to open a card and it not be powerful, so it makes sense. But man, it's a bummer, because Magic is at its core, it's a physical card game. Mm-hmm. So they really need to keep that in check. They can't just change something like you can on Hearthstone or other games. And
I think the ideal too, like I kind of mentioned beforehand, the ideal for the game is I'll bring something like Infect and you bring something like Burn, and it could go either way, and that's kind of the cool part about it. Yeah. I think games like Pokemon and stuff like that, I've been told that it doesn't work that way. Sometimes your deck, I mean, obviously you got things like Tron and Infect, Tron and Burn, but there's sideboards and stuff. I mean, that's another part of the game.
Yes, the sideboard is an amazing. That's something too that, like, once I started to really focus on the game, I was like, oh, the sideboard, like, you can really truly craft your deck exactly the way you want to. Yeah, you can copy lists and stuff, but you have to make the final 10 to 15 slot choices. There's like a core of a deck of, competitively, or even just how you build a deck in general. And then you go from that to, playing against someone, and you're like, oh, wow, they have all flyers. Well, Good thing I put this card in there that can destroy all flyers. It's like you just need to know you have options. And that's, I do prefer best of one in Arena because of my time constraints, but like,
it's not the same, though.
It's not the best of three, the traditional way. I mean, it's just, if you want like a good 3 to 4 hour session of just playing, just like the LGS, you just go and you play, and it's like.
Did you ever watch the tournament with it when it was just best of one?
Maybe. I don't know.
They had the first time they announced Arena, they did best of one tournament.
Oh, I think so.
And in my opinion, it was bad.
I remember because
you would have like 3 decks or 2 decks, and you would choose them, and it's like you're pretty much at that point playing rock paper scissors.
I remember that they tried to do something similar to Hearthstone's.
Oh yeah.
And Hearthstone is like it's a whole different game. So trying to do a similar system to that didn't make sense to me. It's like, why didn't you just do best of 3 and just play it like that?
Do what you made. Don't try to copy other people.
Do what you made.
Exactly.
I like that.
All right. Well, I think the last part about Magic is the gathering. I think that's probably my favorite part of the game. Going up, seeing people you haven't seen forever, going the SCGs. I mean, obviously you're playing for the big money pool and all that, but heck, you get to meet YouTubers that you haven't seen, that you've probably talked to online, and actually get to talk to them in person. There's a whole bunch of, like, even Magic Fest are big like that. Or you can even cosplay if you want to. Mm-hmm. I thought about doing cosplay, but I gotta get a little bit better shape.
Yeah, I'm not a big cosplay
person. To do the
person.
Yoko, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The Gathering is probably the reason why I'll always have cards. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll always have a deck to be like, even like 10, 15 years from now, when probably everything's digital and who knows where we're at in society, I really truly think Magic the Gathering will still be around in some form because people love the idea of like going to a card store or going to a tournament.
Excellent.
And it's, who knows, maybe the winnings will be in Bitcoin. Like who the heck knows, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the idea of the game will always be there. And I think it's truly because of the gathering part of it.
Yeah, and I think right now the biggest gathering that we probably have with, like, it's not even 1v1 at the moment. It's just because of, like, Commander. That's why I think that's kind of why Commander cards are so expensive right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. I'm not a big Commander player, but it's obviously the number one thing that's being played. I mean, everybody wants to hang out with their friends. Oh, I got this. My general is. I'm trying to figure out who generals are. That's how much I don't play the game.
There's so many.
There's so many of them. There's what we got? We got. Well, see, I want to name Planeswalkers, but that's Oathbreaker, isn't it?
Yeah, which I don't even think that's a thing, really.
No, it's not. Riz the Redeemed is one.
Yeah, I think I sold my Commander deck whenever I sold most of my cards because I was just like, what I would really want to do is foil it out or get the cards I would love to have in it, but it's just crazy to think like you really have to love that part of the game too, to like the quad play or like multiple people.
It's so hard to play. Like talking about the game, to me it's so hard to play that. That's why I don't even like care. That's why I'm just like I play the jankiest deck because like you got all these guys playing competitive Commander, which is fine. I mean there's obviously a route for it, but I can't get in that.
Well, like, even the fact of like I've played in some Commander games and I've even heard of games going like 4 to 6 hours, and I'm like, I'm used to just playing 4 rounds of like Friday Night Magic and then leaving.
Yeah, like 55 minutes each. That's it.
Yeah, and it's like there's a time limit. It's like the fact that you could like do anything you want and like the group hug decks and like there's just so much, right?
Yeah, I mean that stuff is cool, and I'm sure people love that, but it's just like I'm not interested in playing all that kind of stuff, and I know that's a big thing, and I it's just
like if every game could be like how the Command Zone does it, then obviously it'd be perfect. But it's like it's
not. They take for like they work on that.
They do. They work on that so much, and they produce it, and there's effects, and there's like, when you sit down and you think that that's what it's going to be when you sit down and play, I mean, it kind of is if you have that imaginative spark, but some people just like the mechanics of Magic with that 1v1 kind of aspect.
And I've played 1v1 Commander, and I do actually like that.
Yeah, I've only done it a couple times, but
like I said, I just can't because I just can't get into it. Like I said, there's people who play like I'm playing like a janky deck without like forces and stuff like that, and you got another person playing forces and all that, and
it just shows you how, like, for me, it shows how poor I am, how much I cannot afford.
It's and like I don't want to put those cards in that kind of deck. If I'm using forces, I'm going to use them in Legacy.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to put all my expensive cards in Legacy because that's where I get my entertainment from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fun because it's like, especially like you talked about foiling and all that, and it's kind of like I think I foil pretty much almost all my decks, and it's just kind of fun to be like, oh, I'm playing this, like you get ooey eyes and everything, and you get the people have look and touch, I think that's another thing I miss a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd say Infect was my first foiled out deck, so
that's crazy.
I do miss that part of the gathering for sure.
Just people, being so enamored by it. And then, like, you feel like, because I've played against people with, like, fully foiled out decks, and I've beaten them. And it just, I think also, too, it's like a pride thing.
Oh, yeah. You invest so much into a foil deck. Foil deck doesn't mean, a lot of people get the concept, he has a foil deck. It means he's a great player. That's not necessarily true, but it means but a lot of times when people foil out their decks, they have a very strong attachment to that deck.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that's how I was with Infect. I mean, I have such strong attachment with that. Pop or Burn, I have attachment with that.
Yeah.
Gagari Stompy, you know, everything that I foil out has like some sort of attachment to it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's. I was trying to do that with Phoenix and Thing in the Ice and those cards, but I had to go and ban Faithless Looting. I couldn't play it anymore.
How much was the foil of Faithless Looting probably during that time?
It was, I think, only a couple dollars because there was so many printings of it.
Yeah.
But at the time, Manamorphose was really expensive, and I remember trading for those and those Grand Prix Lightning Bolts and all that stuff. I was like feeling so awesome, and then when I look at the price now, it's like fractions of the.
And think about that. That's because nobody's going out there, but some of them are going up because people are thinking, oh, LG local game stores are coming back.
Yeah, that'd be a good segue to talk about, the LGS store.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we can go right to it because like right now, like local game stores, that's another thing that's really big about Magic the Gathering. Like that's probably the sole heart of the game is the local game stores.
Yeah, I wish I've seen a couple stores go through town, and it never is. It's so unfortunate when they go out of business or that, because there's a community behind that, know. But I would have loved to have been a part of a game store growing up, even because I played. I collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a while, and then Pokemon whenever I was a kid. But apparently we went to sports card shops. I had no idea. I'm pretty sure that a Black Lotus could have been sitting there right next to the Charizard, and I would have had no idea. It being like 3 or 4 times as expensive, but at the time, you don't know, you're a kid, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah,
I think the thing about that type of stuff is you're going for nostalgia, like
yeah,
that's what a lot of the LGS kind of hopefully does for you, because like you go back and you're like, oh man, I remember this card, oh I remember this type of stuff, and like that's what's kind of cool about them showing it off in the glass. Because, I mean, think about, like, Dominaria cards are expensive now. That's where I started. Mox Amber, is that what it's called?
Yeah, man.
You see that card, it's like, oh, I remember that card. Yeah, it was like $2, right, isn't it?
It was. I think it dropped to $5 to $10 at some point. And we opened so many.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just, like, thinking to myself, wow, we had, like, 8 of those, 10 of those. And now they're, like, 30 to 40 a piece.
It's crazy.
And now they're just, I mean, I don't know if you still have any, but
I don't know. I might.
I don't. I think I probably sold those cards to foil out my deck, to be honest.
And I think that was also during the time that we were really into Standard.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing that I think people go through the cycle of getting into the game, and then they realize they can't afford the game because it cycles so fast, but then they look at the old cards and they can't afford those, so then they're like in the middle. They have some cards,
which is kind of why they built Pioneer. So you're like, oh, hey, try out Pioneer. If you like Pioneer, go to Modern. If you like Modern,
it's like a
stay
progression.
At Modern. I don't think they're gonna.
Just stay at Modern. Don't go any further because you'll have to mortgage your house to afford the cards.
Yeah, because like heck, I was looking into a Legacy deck, and I think it costs like $1,400 for just 4 cards. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Stimulus check, I guess. Don't do that, please. You didn't hear that from me.
I'm not. Yeah, I would. There's a lot better things to spend that money on.
Don't do that.
So
before I get a whole bunch of dislikes on the video, like, why are you doing that with your money?
Wow.
I think the thing I really miss about LGS, and then we talked about, is Friday Night Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Or Thursday night, wherever your format day, and you go out and hang out with your buds. That's part of the gathering, I guess. But it's just that's what it is. Like LGS is the game and the gathering, and it's like, and you're missing all of that. I've been playing online. I've bought Popper Slivers recently. Oh my goodness, I love it. But it's just not the same without talking trash in front of your person.
Or the. Like you looks like they're in physical pain because you're beating them, or you're sitting there like trying not to like throw your cards because you're losing. Like there's a part of that the adrenaline, like because I remember I was in oh, I don't even know if they call it this anymore, but a PPTQ or whatever, the Pro
yeah.
Tour
Yeah.
preliminary
Is
qualifier
that
or
for
whatever.
the local game stores only?
Yeah, and then you go to like the regional, and then you can like qualify it.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
They did get rid of that. But anyways, I was in the running for top 4, and that would mean I qualify for the regional. And man, I was just so upset because it's just I knew at a certain junction of the game, I knew I lost. But it's that sportsmanship thing that I'm like, okay, gotta play this out. Maybe I'll draw the one card that will get me out of this. But then as soon as he just like locked it up, I was like, yeah. So there's a lot of the LGS store I miss. You know, there's some of like the people that frequent it, you know, more.
Oh yeah.
You know, then they have like their people that they hang out with. That was sometimes like meeting new people is hard, especially because you're all there for the same thing, but you don't really know each other that well, you know. So it's, you know, it's the same thing when you go to tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of times I went to like Kokomo and I just sat by myself and I'm just like, I just start looking at my deck. I'm just planning everything out and everybody's talking. I'm just like, hey, I'm just happy that I'm talking. I'm just happy that I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking through my cards. I'm just.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to get glycerin off turn 1. Right.
I know you play out your ideal play, and then
that's what I do. I do it the whole time.
Never, ever, ever draw your card.
I check my sideboard like 20 times, make sure it's not in my main deck. I'm like super bad. I'm like there's been times where I'm like super bipolar, not bipolar. What is it called? OCD. I think that's what it is. I'm like
yes,
I have to count my cards every time, and like I don't know why. Like I have to I 1, 2, 3, 4, and I count to 60, and then I put it in my deck and shut it, and then I open it again and I'll do it again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I only get that OCD about when I was doing a couple tournaments that I actually traveled for.
Oh yeah.
You know, because
people lose their decks. Yep.
Well, yeah, you lose your decks, but then on that you're like going to a tournament. And if you miscount or you say, oh, well, I have this card in here, but really it's not.
You lost the game that round.
You lose the round, and then sometimes you get disqualified.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, spend, $50, $60 just to go and basically just say, throw it. Like, it's like, I call it like you just burn that money. That's like you literally just set it on fire. Nothing happened. I mean, yes, you have the prize pool and you're paying the people there. So technically you're helping that, but you don't get. It's just but
yeah, I kind of also miss the annoying people at local game stores too. Like everybody has that one annoying person, and I miss them too. Like
yeah.
You're like, dang it. It's like, dang it, that dude's here again.
But you miss seeing.
But you miss seeing them. And it's weird. I know I'm going to talk a little bit. This is not LGS, but let's talk about I just want to talk about the tournament stuff real quickly. Now, you've always played like a fair deck, would you say? You played Tron one time, right?
Tron one time because I was following some people in the competitive scene that said it was a good tournament that week. And it was one of the top decks, but I just got matched up with even more unfair decks, and like it was just crazy. But no, I typically play the fair game, try to outmaneuver the opponent, and so to speak. So
because like I'm the guy who's like no one wants to see, and I love it because like you get to have this like super villain about yourself. And like I remember one time, like I talk about the story all the time. I'm actually going to talk about 2 stories. I remember one time when Urza was like the big thing right now, and I beat this one dude badly. Like it was like 55 minutes. There was like 50 minutes left. Like after I won both games, I just got to sit down and talk to my brother-in-law and just hang out with him for a little bit. He's like, how's your games going? I was like, yep, I did pretty good. I shook the guy's hand too, and he was not happy. I felt bad, but then again, it's just how it is, My other favorite time was the tournament that you played Tron. I went against a Tron person, and that dude turn 1 glycerin off. I saw his face. He's like, well, I'm out of this tournament now.
I'm out of. Yeah, that is pretty bad. Modern was I don't even know what the state of the competitive scene is, but back 2-3 years ago when we were doing that, man, did it just seem like you would sit down and you would play that card, or you would see your opponent play it, and man, you just know if you're gonna win or not, or you're like, maybe I have a shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's some fun in that too. It's a little bit of a gamble, but
and then I lost because heck, I went day 2. I mean, I wasn't able to make it day 2 because the last 2 games, the last one I went against was Jun. So like that's like my like worst enemy. Let me see your hand. Let me take it apart. Let me burn your creature. Let me push your creature. I mean, there's nothing I can do from this point. That's why but that was before Veil Summer. Now there's Veil Summer. I have a chance now.
Yeah,
not a big one.
The game's changed quite a bit since then.
Well, now like since that time, now it's like mono red not mono red paralysis, but just paralysis in general. That's the big gun now.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think I'm going to talk about the last part. How's life been for you, man?
Life's been good. Just keeping things moving here with the music career and life and all that fun stuff. And I did have a cool finding this past weekend.
Oh yeah, what'd you find?
Went home and back to my parents' house, and I've been just trying to dig out some old stuff that I have. And I knew for a while, I've known forever, like I remember collecting the original Pokemon. I remember collecting them. And sure enough, I was like, they have to be down here in this one spot. So over the past couple years, actually, when I've gone back, for whatever reason, I've looked and never been able to find them. So I was like, really, did we really sell these? Well, sure enough, this past weekend, I went there, and it was like literally the last box that I hadn't looked through. Or maybe I did look through it, but I didn't look through it like closely enough. And I moved some stuff, and there were the 2 binders,
Nice.
the base set and like the jungle set and the fossil set. So they're all like the first 2 or 3 years of like not the first edition, but not the base set 2 or whatever, and first couple expansions. And it's not every card, so on there it looks like I either sold them or like I don't know, as a kid, garage sale, like trade them or whatever. But yeah, I got like Charizard and Blastoise and Venusaur and all those
like the top 3
the
hits.
top 3 hits, and then all the other cards that are still actually expensive now because people want all of them, not just the the big 3. But yeah, man, it's weird. I'm like, wow, so now I have something to either save, but I have a feeling like they're not on a reserve list, if you think about it, like Magic. So there's a huge bubble for Pokemon right now, and I feel like in a year or 2, once that all settles down, and once the pandemic hopefully gets ironed out, and then more cards can be printed, there's going to be more Charizards than you can imagine. I think the original will always hold value, which I guess technically I have one of the originals, but it's like it's not a first edition. It's not in the best condition. There's just a lot against it. Oh, and it's so sad. There's a small binder ding in it.
Oh no.
So I don't even know if it's like, I think it's good enough to like obviously be sold for like heavy play. I thought it was light played, but
with that ding in it,
with the ding, it's like it's so small, but it's just enough that it's like, well,
Now, do they go off by lightly played?
No, I don't know what they do. I think they.
Because I didn't know if it was like how baseball cards are.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's been my fun thing I've been trying to figure out to do.
Yeah.
But if I can get some money from it, that'd be awesome. If not, then it is what it is. So, how about you?
I've been doing pretty good. I've been school's been a pain in the butt lately. I don't know if anybody's seen my posts on that, but I hate school. But I'm taking a little break with I'm going to I have my birthday this Thursday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Wednesday, I guess tomorrow, we are going, my buddies and I, we're going to go to South Bend. We're going to go to Macri's Italian joint. There we go.
Nice.
A shout out to that restaurant. They have really good deep dish pizza. I'm going to go get probably a couple pizzas there, and maybe just venture around. There's a card shop over there, and like I said, I haven't been to a game store in a while, and I feel like if I wear my masks and all that, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Just to go in and see what they have. Other than that, like I said, I bought Popper Slivers last week. I've been enjoying that. Been playing a crap ton of that actually. One with poison, so that's always a good sign.
Nice.
And I think I'm just about to. I think I'm at the point now. I'm probably going to treat myself and buy myself some Magic cards for my birthday. I think I see some Popper Elf foils I kind of want.
Oh.
So yeah.
Nice.
See, so if there's a market that goes up, it's because of me.
Yep. That's awesome.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's all that's been going on. So
Cool.
other than that, guys, tell us how you been. Have a happy. I think this Wednesday is tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Don't go out being too crazy, people. Play a lot of Magic. Go ahead and drink your green beer, but be safe. But other than that, that's it for the podcast tonight. A little bit shorter, but just kind of wanted to see, just kind of to get our thoughts out on what is Magic. Let us know what you think is Magic. And obviously, I almost forgot, you can find me on Great Value MTG, and you can find AJ Burning on Turn2Gaming, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got that. Or you can, and I'll always leave a link to his studio if you're interested in using any of his stuff. So other than that, guys, have a fantastic week. Thank you.